Cheyenne stood under a tree, her hand touching the icy bark. Good thing she had gloves. Otherwise she would probably have frozen fingers by now. And now? Should I really wait for the storm to subside? This can take all night. My grandparents and Xaver will die of worry. I really hope Xaver has gone home. If something happens to him because of me, I'll never forgive myself. The girl began to blame herself for the ill-considered action. She had put her best friend in danger and would cause grief to her grandparents. And all of this for nothing, since she could not identify the source of the noise. All for nothing. Xaver trudged through the snow, breathing heavily. The icy air burned in his lungs, but he had to keep going. He couldn't just stop. Time was running against him. Suddenly he stumbled and fell. Oh, damn. He pulled himself together and wondered. He had fallen on an area where the snow was not so high. The difference must have made him fall. The main street! I'm really far away from home, but staying here doesn't make any sense either. The storm won't be over in the next half hour. I should try to go home. Cheyenne turned around. She was now in the forest, which meant that she had to go back where she came from, towards the flat fields. So let's go. But just as she was about to leave, the whimpering noise sounded again. This time it was barely audible and sounded very weak. The girl stopped and looked in the direction from which she had heard the noise. Without thinking, she started moving and running. After a few meters, she stopped again and listened. Nothing. Oh, damn, but it was very close. It must be here somewhere, but I don't see anything. Hey, where are you? She kept booting, hoping that the something would respond to her voice. A powerless whining sounded. Cheyenne turned around and found that the noise was coming from the tree behind her. It was a big tree that had many huge roots that you could see even under the snow. Suddenly she heard another noise. It sounded like someone was digging in the snow, but only very slightly. Huh? Where does that come from? I don't see anything, but it has to be somewhere here. She examined the tree and found a small hole in one of its large roots. She looked inside and was confirmed directly with the whine. Xaver ran as fast as he could to make it to the Undercity in time before it was pitch black. He reached the river and could hardly breathe. It burns. His lungs hurt, but he couldn't stop now. He was so close now. At least he was a little warmer now, but he still felt the cold. He ran across the bridge of the river and arrived in the Undercity. Chroma street lamps now illuminated his way. He had done it. Without slowing down, he ran up the path to Cheyenne's house. The girl's grandmother stood at the window and saw him, whereupon she opened the door for him. Xaver, boy, we were so worried. Finally you're back home. Xaver's mother also was at Cheyenne's house and came to him with a blanket. You must be infinitely cold. Come here, I'll cover you quickly. Warm up. I'm glad that nothing happened to you. Mom, Cheyenne, she is still outside. We have to search for her. Xaver was totally out of breath, rejected the blanket and grabbed himself a chroma lantern from the wardrobe. Cheyenne's grandfather joined them. What do you mean Cheyenne is still out? Xaver, what happened? As soon as the boy caught his breath, he told the whole story and urged the adults to search for her. He was now shivering with excitement, and also from the cold. He had tears in his eyes and was infinitely worried about Cheyenne. I didn't want to leave her alone, but I didn't know what to do but to get help. I don't see anything at night. I'm so sorry. Please, we have to find her. The grandparents understood that Xaver was not to blame and that he was really worried. Abel, please get more lanterns from the barn. We have to find the little one. Without hesitation, Cheyenne's grandfather made his way to the barn. Xaver, the boy's mother put the blanket over him. You stay here and warm up. We'll find Cheyenne. You told us where you were playing. She kissed Xaver on the forehead and accompanied him to the sofa in front of the warm fireplace. But Xaver, don't talk again. You stay here and warm up, otherwise you'll get sick. Lovingly but strictly, the mother sat the boy down and got him a second blanket. Have faith in your mother. We'll find her, I promise. She had never promised her son anything she couldn't keep, and so Xaver became calmer. He wiped the tears from his cheeks and snuggled up in the blankets. He looked at the small decorated holy tree and hoped that this evening would end well. The adults set off. In the forest it was now quite dark. Fortunately, this was no problem for Cheyenne, as she could see all so well at night. No one knew how this was possible. She stood in front of the hole which the whimpering sound came from and looked inside. Oh no! In front of her she saw two small paws and a wolf-like snout buried in the snow. The little creature could barely breathe, but would soon suffocate in the snow if she did not help him. Hold on, little one! The girl did not hesitate and dug out the feeble, trembling puppy. So, now you can move again and breathe properly. But the little one was just trembling on the ground, did not even have the strength to lift its head. He must have been fighting against the snow for a very long time, and there was no sign of his mother far and wide. Well, it would be good for the little one, but bad for me if the mother was here. She looked at the little bundle. It was an emaciated, petite, really small wolf puppy with a silver, wet and frozen coat. But there was something special about it that Cheyenne had only seen in books before. Are these sensors? The little puppy had turquoise antenna-like extensions on his head. She followed the strange body parts and found the cause of the little one's distress. Oh no, you got tangled up with your sensors. The wolf puppy had somehow managed to make a kind of knot with his sensors around one of the tree roots and could not free himself. The knot was quite tight. The little one must have tried for a very long time and with strength to free himself, and thus tightened the knot more and more. That must hurt. You feel that, don't you? There was no reaction. Wait, I'll help you. She did her best to untie the knot as gently as possible, which was not so easy. After a while, however, she had made it, and the little puppy was freed. Ha! Done! Now you're free again! But the little bundle just lay trembling on the ground and did not move. Cheyenne was worried and knew that the little one wouldn't make it through the night out here. Who knows how long he had been struggling to survive. The puppy clearly did not have the strength to stand up, let alone protect himself from the snow. And without a mother, food procurement would not be successful either. Without hesitation, she came to a decision. Come on, I'll take you to my house. You can warm up, and when you feel better, you can get out into the wild world again. Okay? Without waiting for an answer, she took her scarf and wrapped a feeble ball of fur in it, to warm it at least a little. It felt very wet and cold, and if it wasn't in a warm place soon, it would probably die. In the meantime, it had become pitch dark. Cheyenne desperately needed to take the little one to a warm place. She couldn't wait for the blizzard to subside, so she set off. On good luck, she ran out of the forest, hoping that she was heading in the right direction to the capital. The wind whipped her in the face and made it difficult for her to move. If the forest is here, then the capital city should be always straight out. She pursued this theory and always went straight out. She had tightly enclosed the little bundle and put it in her coat so that it would have more warmth than just a scarf. You're a fairy wolf, huh? I've seen something like you in books. You are very, very rare. What are you doing here? Were these other traces I saw of your mother? If so, why aren't you with her? What happened?